Welcome to the Big Match Revisited, a chance to look back at the way football was televised more than 4 decades ago. It's February 1975, an era when the pitches were often terrible, the tackles were fierce, but some of the stars were real mavericks. Settle down for some football nostalgia with host and commentator Brian Moore.
And welcome again to the Big Match. 3 more games for you today, and good ones at that, reflecting the top and bottom of the First Division and the top of the Second as well. Our main match is that real dogfight at the bottom of the First between Spurs and Leicester City, and we shall support that with Burnley going hard for the Championship now against Sheffield United, and the day's outstanding game in the Second Division between Aston Villa and Manchester United. Our studio guest today, it's Terry Neal, manager of Spurs, the man in one of football's hottest seats. And that's where we're going to make a start, in fact, at White Hart Lane, the home of Spurs, and a ground where the fans really haven't had very much to cheer this season so far, but they come in hope of something to buck them up when Spurs take on the First Division's bottom club, Leicester City. But first of all today, let's take a check on the two teams for this vital match in the First Division. Spurs able to field the side that lost by a single goal at Birmingham in midweek, but Leicester City's manager, Jimmy Bloomfield, has got problems. Steve Earle and Len Glover both unfit. Mike Stringfellow comes in at 4. Bob Lee is at number 11. But they remain a side that is full of attractive possibilities. And it's certainly going to be an important first home game for Spurs' new £80,000 signing from Bolton Wanderers. And of course, that young man is Don McAllister. Just as it is for the man making his 300th league appearance for Spurs in the number 5 shirt, that of course being Mike England. But how do the two skippers see this match? Martin Peters of Spurs.
Well, obviously it's a very important game for us, and it's a 4-pointer with Leicester. If we can beat them today, it means it's a significant difference. This season, with only 11 games to go, there is pressure on us to win this game more than most others, I would think.
And John Samuels of Leicester.
It's a very important game for us. It's a game we need to win badly, and we hope we're going to do it. We feel a certain amount of pressure because of the importance of the game. We're perhaps a little bit more keyed up than perhaps we would have been early in the season.
The referee today is Ralph Lee of Cheshire. The crowd reflects Spurs' poor run. It's only 20,000.
So Spurs kick off, attacking the goal to our left in white shirts and black shorts, Leicester in their familiar blue, and both sides in an unfamiliar position, right towards the foot of the table. In fact, Leicester propping everybody up in 22nd place, and Spurs are 4 off the bottom. Both sides in relegation trouble, both sides desperate for 2 points to ease themselves a little and to lift morale as well. Referee Ralph Lee having a quick word with Joe Kinnear for a challenge there that gave Leicester that free kick. Some worried men there. The Terry Neal, the Spurs manager, second from the right, with the substitute Jimmy Neighbour on the right-hand side of the picture. Wilf Dixon there with him. So it's a free kick to Leicester, to be taken by the number 5, Jeff Blockley, so recently with Arsenal. And a goal kick to Tottenham. I remember Jeff Blockley, in fact, having, I thought, one of his best games for Arsenal here in a really resounding derby game against Spurs. They're looking to him to prop up the defence now. Rofe. And a throw to Leicester City, which Rofe will take. Here's Worthington. A lot of delicate skills, and he finds Rofe again, who can get the cross in, but that time Joe Kinnear was in for Tottenham, and Conn is racing hard for it, but so too is Birchinall. Conn got there first, Blockley to Whitworth, Peters coming in first, and he's all right, he's onside, isn't he? Is this the breakthrough for Leicester? Turned inside, oh, and Worthington missed a chance, and yes, it's there by Stringfellow, and Leicester go into the lead. Stringfellow, who finally turned it over. Spurs in total disarray there. Kinnear absolutely furious with his defence, but no doubt at all about it. Lee was onside, the linesman kept his flag down, and from the moment he put that cross in, Worthington half miskicked. Spurs couldn't get it away, and it was Stringfellow who finally pushed it home. Spurs 0, Leicester 1. Mike Stringfellow scores. And that's a terrible start for Tottenham with just 4 minutes gone. Good jump there by Worthington. Lee was right in there. Stringfellow again. And Perryman pulling that one clear for Spurs. And a good pass to Alfie Khan. On for Peters. Well, can Duncan latch onto this one? Chivers was a little slow there. Now Whitworth. Stringfellow. Birchinall. Rofe making a good attacking run down the left again for Leicester. And he's got 1 or 2 in the middle if he can get it over. Good header by Kinnear. And here's Conagay. That's a good run by Con and a good pass to Knowles. Towards Chivers. And headed straight to Weller. Well, I'm surprised that Worthington allowed that one to go through to Kinnear. Birchinall. Now Con, no, there was a foul there by Birchinall on Naylor. Mike Ingham will take it. Duncan just nodding that on. I don't think Peters will have quite the pace to get there, but he's got a corner. Well, he didn't have quite the half-yard of pace that he wanted, Martin Peters, but the effort was certainly there. But it forced Leicester into the error and gave Spurs this corner, which Perryman will take. Mike England deep on the far side, and Bob Lee has come back to watch him pretty closely. Played short to Chivers. Well, that's the sort of thing that Gilseen used to do, and it's not away yet by Leicester. Con tried a volley. Chivers playing it back for Knowles, and now for Perryman. Hit first time. The idea was so right, and the execution was so awful. And so it's with Weller. Worthington. McAllister did well. Samuels to Rofe. Stringfellow. What a good utility player he's been. He'd play anywhere for Leicester City and has done so for quite a number of years. And now Spurs get it away to Martin Peters. Forward for Perryman. And here's Kinnear. Duncan. A little play back again there for Peters. Peters shot across the face of the goal, and Chivers really had a tap in, and it went just a little too quick for him. But Spurs still on the attack with Alfie Con. And another corner for Spurs. Well, Con has shown some delicate touches, but when Peters put that one across the face of the goal, it looked odds on Martin Chivers being able to touch it in. It didn't happen, though. And now Spurs with a corner. Con to take it. Chivers at the near post. Peters at the far post. England up again. And it's deep towards Mike England. Getting in there with a header. And it's too high. Having a great season for Spurs, Mike England, in spite of the fact that he's now reaching the veteran stage. I hope he doesn't mind me saying that. 300th league appearance today. Perryman turning it back where it's safe. Now McAllister. Hard towards Peters, but Peters was beaten in the air by Blockley. It's Whitworth. Worthington, what a good ball there. And Rofe, a good attacking fullback. Not a bad-looking cross either, but again Kinnear got on the end of it for Tottenham. Here's Naylor. That was a push on Duncan, which the referee didn't see. And Duncan felt it. Birchinall, and a free kick, or is it a throw? It's a throw on the far side to Tottenham. A free kick again for the foul by Birchinall on Peters. So now it's with Knowles. Played on for Con. Nice trickery there by Alfie Con. Oh, just over! Well, he's taken a long time to establish himself in the Spurs side, Alfie Con, but there was some beautiful trickery there that got past two defenders, and a shot in the end just too high. Kinnear. Peters couldn't get that one. Whitworth, Weller. Now Con. Played for Martin Peters. Duncan is ahead of him. Knowles is coming up. Peters again. What a beautiful pass there for Knowles. There's the cross. It's deeper. And Naylor will struggle to get this back, but he's done it. And Duncan is underneath it, so too is the fist of Wallington. Peters obscured there by Con, and Leicester with 9 men back. Naylor crossing this in again. Perriman is there. It'll come for Knowles. Oh, and now he's given it to Summers. It's not away yet. Chillers now towards Duncan. Hits! Oh, no, and Wallington almost there by Duncan, and Wallington just got a hand to it, and he's glad now to clutch it. Good shot there by Duncan, good save by Wallington. And still 1-0, but now Peters through, and a deliberate foul by Birchinall on Peters, when Peters was through, and Spurs will get a free kick. And Birchinall, I would think, maybe just a little lucky to escape any sort of admonishment from referee Ralph Lee. So now, can this be the moment for Tottenham? Peters will take it, although Knowles is lined up as well, and it's Knowles who hits it. Weller who gets it away to Knowles again, and now a goal kick to Tottenham. Lee. Oh, a nice little nod on by Lee. Now for Wellington. Oh, and a great save by Jennings. Lee, who is being a superb target man there, hitting him with everything, Leicester. And a nice little touch off for Worthington, and a brilliant save by Jennings. Now here's Lee again. Now for Roth. Leicester keeping up the pressure now. The cross coming in towards Worthington, and a header! Fisted away superbly by Pat Jennings. A beautiful climb again by Worthington. Jennings fisted away, and Worthington held his head in his hands. He couldn't believe it. Lee. Now Con. A touch for Duncan. A lovely back heel there to Alfie Con from Duncan. A little touch on again. And no penalty, said the referee, though Con was down. Con looks in pain, but the referee said there was no infringement there. Naylor in a bit of trouble. Perriman with a chance to get him out of it. Con taking it up again. Perriman. Now Kinnear. Now can he cross this one? Towards Marty Chivers, in with a header, but it's passed. Well, the apparent recent injustices to Tottenham have really got the crowd fully behind this Spurs side now. As the whistle goes for half-time, and the boos come up because the crowd are not happy with some of the decisions that the referee, Ralph Lee, and his linesmen have given. And in fact, Martin Peters there, the Spurs captain, going straight across to the referee to have a word with him about some of them, I would imagine. But it's a desperate situation for Tottenham. The goal by Mike Stringfellow after only 3.5 minutes is the one that separates the side. Martin Peters goes on talking to the officials, and there's going to be a lot of talking going in those dressing rooms during the next 10 minutes. A lot more to come on the big match this afternoon, and the half-time score at White Hart Lane in this vital relegation match. Spurs 0, Leicester 1. We'll be right back with the second half. Welcome back to White Hart Lane, with Leicester now attacking the goal to our left. And certainly Spurs' morale is going to take a bit of lifting now. They've won only one of their last 12 games. And Leicester, I'm sure, will remember that it was in November when, in fact, they were healthily placed in the league when they went ahead against Spurs at Filbert Street and lost 2-1. Jimmy Neighbour now on as substitute for Tottenham. There he is on the ball now. And I think it's probably Terry Naylor who's gone off. On for Peters. I think Terry Naylor really looked quite the part in the middle of the field where he was playing. So he's gone off, and Spurs have really gone to look for a little more striking power. Wide on the wings from Jimmy Neighbour. Well, it's Joe Kinnear making the running for them now. Duncan saying he wants it in the air, but it's too high even for him. Perriman standing off. Peters was hopeful of getting in the shot. And a misunderstanding there in the Leicester side. Now it's with Knowles. Perriman. Played in again towards Duncan, and Whitworth having no nonsense at all getting that one away, but Perriman tackling him hard. Whitworth again to Worthington. Taking on McAllister now. If he's got the acceleration, he's got a chance. There's the shot, and what a save! Oh, what a save again by Jennings. Worthington doing superbly there. He turned young McAllister inside out, onto the left foot. Tremendous shot, and a beautiful save by Jennings. McAllister in first. Con. Perriman to Knowles. Well, Spurs have got to match the determination that Leicester City are showing, and at the moment they're not quite doing that. Perriman now, can he lift them? Here's Kinnear. They've got men up and they've got Neighbour wide, which is what he was on to do. Well, that was a handball, and it's a free kick. And Perriman will take it. And England is making a late run into that Leicester penalty area. Played deep towards Martin Peters, but knocked off the top of his head by Birchinall. That's a throw. Be a chance for Chivers to exert a little more pressure on Leicester. Knowles. That'll fall for Whitworth. Worthington the only man up for Leicester, so he's got to hold on to it. Well, he gave it to Knowles instead. Crossed in again towards Duncan, and it might come for Neighbour now. Substitute nearly pulled it off for Tottenham there. A beautiful turn by Jimmy Neighbour. No more than a yard of space, a curling shot, and foiled by that crossbar with Wallington beaten. Kinnear away, but not very far away. Weller playing it towards Worthington. Perriman. towards Chivers. Well, Perryman doing so much work in the middle of the field. Not handball, said the referee, who was perfectly placed. Now Stringfellow for Leicester City as England goes back to try and retrieve the situation. And it's a corner to Leicester. Well, the referee said that was not handball by Keith Weller, that in fact it hit him on the rump. And Leicester get a corner, which Weller will take. And Blockley again has gone up. Birchinall's up there too. Be an outswinger by Keith Weller. Curling out there towards Perryman, and here's Jimmy Neighbour. Con, well, he ran into trouble there. And Whitworth has had a very good game in defence for Leicester. There's Birchinall's long kick again towards Stringfellow, who's popped up in some unexpected places. Lee. Curled in again now for Worthington. Number 2, Frank Worthington. And that could just about be the goal to sink Spurs. They've looked the composed side, Leicester. It's so long since they've won. But as that one came sailing in after a good move, Frank Worthington was there. He kept his head well. And now a look of absolute amazement on the faces of Spurs players. They know now that it could all be up with them in this particular afternoon. 2-0 down. And they really haven't matched Leicester City in this second half for determination. If only Jimmy Neighbour's shot had gone in instead of hitting the crossbar, they could well argue it might have been different. But it hit the crossbar. Leicester have now got this second goal. Really got to take as many risks as they can in defence now in order to try and pressurise something out of Leicester City as Martin Peters goes in, but again Wallington is there. McAllister versus Worthington. Spurs 2-0 down, and you've got to say it, apart from 2 tremendous saves by Jennings, but for those they would have been in even worse trouble. Knowles to Neighbour. Taken away by Weller. Lee, Samuels hit first time into a space where he knew that Stringfellow would be. McAllister getting that one away for Kinnear. Now for Cobb. Hit wide towards Jimmy Neighbour. Here's Knowles. Perryman to Con. It's a whole wall of blue facing them though. And that little 1-2 really didn't look like coming off. McAllister again, a chance to play it wide. It's pumped in there once more though. Played down for Con and hit. Oh, what a save by Wallington. Knocked out by Leicester. Whacked in again on the volley by Alfie Con. And a beautiful jump and catch by Wallington. Birchinall. Now Con. He's got to be stopped sooner or later. Oh! Stopped, in fact, by Wallington in the end. A lovely drinking run, and the longer they held off, the longer he went on. In the end, Wallington stopped him. And a good long kick it is into that Spurs penalty area. Will it come for Worthington? Samuels with a shot. No penalty, but Worthington is there again as that ball came away from Perryman. Flicked in once more. Perryman still right in there, and then had enough calmness about him to whip it wide of Weller for Con. Pushing the back on Con, and a free kick to Tottenham. Just 10 minutes to go now. Duncan followed by Blockley, and Whitworth to give Spurs another throw. Chivers throw. Whitworth under pressure. Stringfellow away. And here's Worthington in so much space. Whack it goes to the far side. What a ball. Straight to Keith Weller. And Worthington wanting it back again. Weller taking on his man and going round him. There's the chip inside now. And Lee hits it in. And Samuels makes it 3. What a beautiful goal for Leicester. Worked superbly. And the last word for Tottenham. A lovely ball by Worthington to Weller. Taking on his man and beating him. Crossed inside, pulled back rather. The first one didn't go in. And Samuels made sure that when it came to him, it did. Spurs 0, Leicester City 3, and a famous club in total disarray at the moment. 3-0 down, Spurs. In bad enough trouble at the start of this game, and now 3-0 down to a side like them in desperate relegation trouble. So Jimmy Bloomfield could breathe at last, I suppose, not even look at his, bother to look at his watch in the last minutes that remain. And problems galore for Terry Neal. And Wilf Dixon, his right-hand man, head in hands because he knows just how big those problems are. And now Chivers laying that one off for Con, trying to get it back again, in fact getting it back off Weller. Oh, good play here by Alfie Con. Played back for Chivers. Duncan trying to knock it in. Chivers trying to knock it in. Perriman trying to knock it in. And it still wouldn't go for Tottenham. Well, it's been that afternoon, and no doubt about it. Nothing much has gone right for Spurs. Although, as I say, the better side is winning, and Worthington is onside. Is this number 4? No, Jennings has stopped him for the moment. Still with Worthington. Played this time for Birchinall, but a shade too high for him. And now Peters. Spurs really in these last 7 minutes or so can do not much more than go through the motions. Neighbour. Well, can he still do something? It goes straight to Blockley. Amazing to think, on this ground where for so many years Spurs were the most difficult side in the world to beat. They've won only 4 home games all season, and their last one was on December the 7th against Newcastle, again by this same score of 3-0 that Leicester are now beating them by. Cross, Lee, McAllister, Perriman, who's done the work of 2, Con, stopped by Birchinall, running into all sorts of trouble in that rather muddy middle area. Worthington. Bob Lee. Rofe. And offside against Frank Worthington again. Chivers now for Con. Trying to get that 1-2 going again, but Rofe was alive to it. Now Con, can he get past Rofe this time? He has indeed, and done it well. What a good punch away, though, by Wallington. Knowles coming in. Neighbour. And the whistle had gone. No advantage played. Well, it might have been better for Spurs, but it's a free kick for them, and it's the old trusty left foot of Cyril Knowles again. Towards Martin Peters. He couldn't get it, and Rofe whacks that one away as the final whistle goes. 2 valuable points for Leicester City, who, as I say, have not won in the league since November the 2nd, 15 matches ago. Their goal scored by Mike Stringfellow, by Frank Worthington, and finally by their skipper, John Samuels. And it'll put them in very good heart indeed for that replay against Arsenal in the Cup at Filbert Street on Monday. Without question, as I say, the better side won. It puts Spurs deeper into trouble and gives Leicester City just a glimmer of hope. A final scoreline here then at White Hart Lane. Spurs 0, Leicester City 3.
Yes, that really spells it out that Spurs are one step nearer the second division now, as the bottom of the first division table now shows. They've played more games than anybody else, and manager Terry Neal, our guest today, has just 10 matches left to pull them clear. In fact, Terry, you couldn't have got off to a worse start yesterday.
Well, you know, as I mentioned to you before the game, or after the game, we've had, I think offhand, about 10 games where we've conceded an early goal.
Onside there, I think, Bob Lee, as you can see, Kinnear on the
Yes, I
far
think to
side
be fair
playing.
to the linesman, he's in the best position to judge. We've asked the lads to come out of defence quickly after clearing. On this occasion, Joe, unfortunately, was left a little behind, but then didn't get a break here. Stopped it on the line, but we couldn't recover in time. The important thing was that we didn't all come out together or stay at home together. Work together. This is the essential part of teamwork.
To your credit, they fought very well for you, but another point that you made to me yesterday was that the defenders really didn't close in enough on attackers, particularly in the second half, and I think this was shown in the third goal that Leicester
Yes,
City
I
scored.
think football's all about being positive, either in the defensive way or attacking-wise.
And here's this example, Terry.
Yes, this must have been a 30, 35-yard, a beautiful crossfield ball, but as you see, we haven't got a defender in shot at all. And it's only after Weller's gone 15, 20 yards before he's confronted. Yeah. We should have been out quicker on that side. We should have gone and attacked the ball.
And the number 11's got space there too, look.
Yes, although at this stage of the game we were becoming very ragged indeed. We'd suffered that cruel blow in the first few minutes. And things had become rather demoralised then. You know, while I wouldn't like to make any excuses,
He suffered a bit, Pat Jennings there, doesn't he?
I think he's had one hell of a season, really, and thank God he has.
Yeah. Terry, one other point before we go on to the general situation, the situation with Alfie Conn, who really was one of the plus factors yesterday.
Yes.
And I think the crowd loved the way he was taking on players.
Well, Alfie's a very skillful player. He's a very effective player when he's positive. I do my nut when he goes across the park and everything like that, but yesterday on a few occasions he attacked people, and this is what Alfie's equipped to do. I think this shot shows very clearly the ability that Alfie has to go past people, and not only the people that he's directly confronted by, but if you'll notice in a few moments one or two of the other players well away I think his Blockley's just gone over. Didn't have a lot of time to do it. The goalkeeper did very well. But that's essentially Alfie Conn, and that's what I want Alfie to do.
Takes a fair bit of stick as well.
He took a lot of stick yesterday. One's always loath to make criticisms about the referees, but I think if...
Forget the ball and watch Conn now. Blockley, in fact, quite blatantly obstructing him. Wasn't a penalty, though.
No, it was outside the box, I think, to be fair, although one can understand Alfie's frustration and anger afterwards. He'd been very positive in that instance.
And this is an incident that we didn't see, in fact, in the main match, Terry, but where Alfie gets booked, faced by Bircham.
Again, he's being positive. He's putting defenders under pressure, and with the skill and pace that he has, that's the only way that some people can...
But what about that? That's what he got booked for...
He didn't actually retaliate. I cannot condone any attitude like this, and Alfie knows that, but I certainly have a lot of sympathy with him. You know, he's had this right from the opening minutes of the game. But in time, Alfie, unfortunately, in a way, has got to learn to live with this sort of thing and hope that the referee, who unfortunately yesterday didn't help him in any sense at all. The ironical thing is that there was only one player booked yesterday, and that was Alfie Conn. You know, the whole thing is, well, slightly crazy.
Terry, it's a situation that's pretty desperate now for Tottenham, though, isn't it?
Yes, there's no denying it. It is a desperate situation, a difficult situation. I accept my share of the responsibility, which is a large share. I accept the abuse and the criticism that's hurled my way. It's my job to put it right.
There was abuse yesterday as well. I mean, there was a section of the crowd calling Nicholson, Nicholson, which must have hurt you, whatever you may feel about it.
No, to be perfectly honest, it didn't, because I can understand they had a lot of success with Bill, and Bill is a wonderful manager. It's difficult for me to follow that, but follow it I will. I've got to, you know, and there's no point in me getting upset, because people remember the good times and find it difficult to put up with the difficult times. We are having a very difficult time, but believe me, we'll pull out of it.
That's a very brave public face to put on it. I can't honestly believe...
Well,
it doesn't hurt at all.
You know me. Obviously, I want to win games. I'm not happy when we're losing games. I'm not perfectly happy at the moment. But the point that I would make is that this is not a time for being irrational or being emotional or being upset by petty criticisms. I am fully aware, probably more aware than anyone else in the land, as to what has got to be done.
What has got to be done? Is it the end of an era for really established players who serve Spurs well, like, for example, Mike England, like Martin Chip, like Martin Peters? Is it the end for them, do you
All
think?
these players have served the club very well indeed, and I believe they're still doing a lot for the club. Changes, obviously, have got to be made. It is the end of an era.
Amongst established players?
Well, you know, how would you term an established player? You know, to be established, you've got to play well, and from now on until the end of the season, we are going to need to battle. We have no alternative but to roll up our sleeves and battle and fight. I mean that in the nicest way. You know, we're not going to kick and rush and everything like that, but we have no alternative now, and those players that don't like the heat, well, they'll be in the reserves.
Do you think there are some there who don't like the heat?
Yes, I must be perfectly honest. I think there are players that are not capable of standing the heat. And it's my job to decide which ones can and which ones can't.
So, in fact, it's going to be a change of emphasis now, away from what we've known from Spurs for so long to real battling for survival.
We have no alternative.
Terry Neal, I'm sure a lot of Spurs fans watching today will wish you the very best of success in what obviously is going to be a very difficult job for you, and thank you very much for coming in and answering our questions so frankly today. Thank you, Terry. Well, there's the view, the frank view of the Spurs manager. But what about Spurs through an opponent's eyes? After the game, I asked Leicester's Frank Worthington where he thought they were going wrong.
Well, with them, it's probably been the same as us. The things haven't gone quite right. The ball starts breaking against you instead of for you. And the harder you try, sometimes the worse things get. We seem to come through that spell now. The tide's turned for us, and we're going forwards instead of backwards now.
Do you think Spurs look as though they might go through that, get through that bad spell?
Well, I think there's still time for anybody to get out, but time's running out, and you know, you've got to start stringing something together quickly.
Well, from one big North London side to another one that you meet on Monday in the Cup, Arsenal. First of all, you're all come through today, have you?
Yeah, I think we're all fit except for Lenny Glover, who's got a little bit of fluid on his knee. We're hoping that he's going to be fit for the match Monday.
And Steve Earle?
Steve Earle is doubtful, actually, because he has a twisted ankle. And if Alan Ball's watching, I look forward to another good game, Alan.
Do you fancy you might beat Arsenal now?
I think so. I'm pretty sure we'll beat them.
Frank Worthington, thank you for today in any case.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So a prediction there from Frank Worthington. We've got some more action now, and from the bottom of the First Division we move to the top, where Burnley are making such a strong challenge now. Yesterday they were at home to Sheffield United. The match was covered by Granada Television. The commentator is Gerald Sinstadt, and Burnley are in the plain shirts.
For it in the middle, Woodward coming on the far side. Spate again, the move has slowed down. Sheffield United still trying to find a way forward. Curry's cross, Woodward's header, Field! Now, it's not going to be allowed because the referee has got it, the linesman has got his flag up, and it's offside. Tony Field deprived of his 12th goal of the season. But he's an awkward customer with a great knack of turning up in those unexpected positions in the 6-yard area. That time he'd strayed offside. Ingham gets away from Spate. Good controlled cross, and up went Hankin, but the referee won't agree with the crowd who are appealing for a penalty. Collins. James. Noble is there, and into the net it goes, and I think it was an own goal, or was it Peter Noble? Well, Noble gets the congratulations. And the little man does it again. His 9th goal of the season. There's the ball lofted in, and whether Noble got a touch or whether it was an own goal is difficult to say. Fletcher makes contact and sets James away. Fletcher is now ahead of him down that line and comes in to take the pass, and a good pass it was. Hankin. Collins. James. James cross, and a beauty! Keith Fletcher. Paul Fletcher gets the goal. Beautiful cross. And certainly no argument about this one. James teasing his man, and Paul Fletcher's header well out of the reach of Jim Brown. Woodward this time on the end of it, and hitting it gloriously. What a magnificent shot by Woodward. Turned away by Stevenson. This time he won't need to bother. John Flynn goes back, but the excitement there came from that thundering volley from Woodward. Badger. Curry. Cross coming for Woodward, and he's made it! Woodward, always the most likely scorer, meeting Keith Eddy's cross at the far post, and that makes it 2-1 as the game goes into injury time.
That's how it finished, 2-1 to Burnley. And now it's time for your letters. And a couple of weeks back, we told you about a 76-year-old referee and wondered if you knew anyone who is older and still taking an active part in the game. And Amersham Town's secretary, Mrs. H. Cater, came up with their groundsman. Here he is. It's Mr. Horace Freeman, who's 86, believe it or not, who works every day on the ground. And he tells me they've not had a Saturday game postponed all season. He's been a member of the club for 63 years. Not content with that, he's also an assessor of young referees. Well done, Horace. And still looking into the past, Miss Marjorie Yerby of Flat 68, Havenfield Road, Booker, High Wycombe in Buckinghamshire, sent me a cutting from a 1924 newspaper that reflects, I think you'll agree, the rise in the price of kitting out a team. Just look at that. In 1924, what you would have got. For £3.12 and 6, you'd have got 11 jerseys, 11 pairs of white knickers, 1 football, 12 panel. 11 pairs of stockings, striped top, and a large inflator. Or if you wanted 11 pairs of football boots and 8 and 11 each, you could get the whole blooming lot for £8 and 5 shillings. And it set us wondering what it would cost to fit out a team today. A team, for example, like one from London, Malcolm Allison's Crystal Palace. Here they are coming out for one of their matches earlier this season, and their secretary, Alan Leather, gave me these figures. For 12 shirts, shorts and socks, it would cost you now £100. For 12 pairs of boots, it would cost you £192, and one match football, £18, a total of £310, as opposed to the £8.5 in 1924. And the Arsenal secretary, Ken Fryer, added one other figure for us. The bill for his club for match and training equipment for all Arsenal teams comes to just under £6,000 per year. How times change. Now on the programme, though, it's time for the big match playback, when we look into the recent past and pull out a game that you've asked to see again. And we've had a number of requests from viewers, mainly from the South Coast, but also from Mr. Jim Burke from Northern Ireland, to see again one of the great cup ties of the 1971 season, when York City, who were then in the 4th division, were at home to Southampton, then in the 1st, in the cup. Here's what happened with Southampton in the lighter shirts.
Davis, Swallow, Fisher, Brian O'Neill. Good long one for Channon to run onto in a dangerous position. And this is a chance. There's the goal, and Gabriel the scorer. O'Neill. Oh, a slip, leaving Payne. Oh, Shannon, all the room in the world if he's onside. This must be number 2, the angle's job. And there's the goal. The referee awards a goal. The linesman refuses to put his flag up for offside. Aimson. Henderson. Good cross, first time cross. Aimson. A header! It's there to go! York City have pulled one back. The scorer, Kevin McMahon. Oh, poorly directed one. Fisher has it. Payne asking for it. Jansen trying to get his head in the way. Shannon. Payne. That's floating in a dangerous position. And in off the post. It's a goal. Ron Davis, the scorer. Davis and York City still trying hard. Mackin. Aimson jumping up, getting it in. A chance for Hewitt. It's there. 2-3. A goal by Hewitt. And incredibly, York City pull another one back. The header by Aimson. And as the Southampton defence stood still, Hewitt pulls yet another one back. 3 minutes remaining. And if York get another, I think the whole of this crowd will believe that the age of miracles is not yet past. Mackin. Right up the middle. Coming out to McMahon. Banged away again anywhere. Hollywood was the man who put that into touch. Southampton, I think, will be relieved to hear the final whistle. They've twice looked as if they were coasting in. There's Mackin. In goes Aimson. It's there. An incredible equaliser by Aimson. The crowd going absolutely mad. Aimson's header. And what a sensation! York City, 2 goals in 3 minutes, and the crowd goes mad!
Yes, brilliant cup action there. And our final match today is one from the top of the second division. An all-ticket crowd of some 40,000 were in Villa Park yesterday for the clash between Aston Villa, really up amongst the pacemakers now, and the leaders Manchester United. The pictures come from ATV, the commentator is Keith Macklin, and Aston Villa are in the dark shirts.
McElroy. Pearson getting a flick, but it's gone the wrong way. Aitken on. Leonard charging into the box. Leonard trying to find Graydon. The shot on for him. And a goal. Ray Graydon, 1-0. Ray Graydon. Tremendous excitement in this crowd as Graydon scores his 23rd goal of the season, and that's the end. Velocipedes are in. 5 minutes into the first half. That ball floating across the box. Leonard winning it, getting it back to Graydon, and he punched the shot home. Challenge from Robson, hurrying him into his work. Way back now to side bottom. Buchan. Macari against Nicol. Good cross. And a great chance then for Pearson. Knocked down by Carradus to the right peg of Stuart Pearson. Chance for him to have knocked in the equaliser then. Side bottom. Robbed so well by Leonard. Done too much. Little. It's McDonald under it. Off the line by Forsyth. What a fine piece of sailing work that was by Alex Forsyth. That's Aitken. It's in there. Charlie Aitken scores his first league goal of the season. Charlie Aitken is tremendous fullback. What a servant. 527 league games behind him, a league record for Villa. 12th goal of his career. 2-0 Aston Villa. The pressure then coming from the corner by Graydon. United caught, and Aitken punches it into the top left-hand corner. Boosted then for Buchan. Robbed by Graydon. Slack play. That's Little up again. The mistake by Buchan. Little. Corner. Corner.
Well, United have often been criticised for the weakness of their defence, the fact that it gets pulled out of position time and time again, playing too square, and we've seen 2 or 3 instances of it. That error by Buchan almost caused something. Graydon's corner now. McDonald. Leonard! Fine save! Keith Leonard, this big lad, filling in for the Irish international, Sammy Morgan, almost got himself a goal then. Again, a lovely ball across the face of the goals. And Leonard knocks it in. Certainly a super reflex action save.
And Aston Villa's next date, of course, is at Wembley for the League Cup final next Saturday against Norwich City, and that's one that you can see only on ITV next Sunday afternoon. But we're going to leave you today reflecting on what a bleak Saturday it was for North London. Arsenal hitting the headlines for all the wrong reasons, with 2 players, Alan Ball and Bob McNabb, sent off, and Spurs pushed closer to the second division by Leicester City.
Is this the breakthrough for Leicester? Turned inside. Oh, and Worthington missed a chance. And yes, it's there by Stringfellow. So there's Birchinall's long kick again towards Stringfellow, who's popped up in some unexpected places. Lee. Curled in again now for Worthington. Number 2. And Worthington wanting it back again. Weller taking on his man and going round him. There's the chip inside now. And Lee hits it in. And Summers makes it 3.